What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing. Where do you come from? Where are you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where are you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing.
Hey, and we are live. What's going on? You're here with Super PlayStation Bros, the DualSense Duo. I'm here with Doragon and myself, Rudigs. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the show. Yes, how are you doing, Doragon? What's going on this week? We're back after a little bit of a hiatus. It's good to be back.
Indeed, you guys had some weird ritual thing over there. I don't know what goes on. So you had to take a week off, and then you slightly died as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
there was all sorts going on your neck of the
COVID.
woods.
Still kicking, still doing well. We had Thanksgiving, and now we are on a new time slot. That is the Wednesday. We have decided we are going to be moving the show here permanently. So if you're looking for Super PlayStation Bros, be sure to lock in on Wednesdays. That's where we're going to be at. Well, let's get into some homework here. If you are new to the show, like, subscribe, and share out the show. It goes a whole long way. Also, you can find each of the links of the hosts in the chat. Also want to say what up to the people in the audience. We got Wibble Sniff and we got David Wilson. What's going on? Thanks for coming on by.
I hope you're okay. Wibble broke his ribs this weekend.
No.
And dislocated his shoulder. And destroyed the dog lead. All at once. It didn't sound like a good moment in history for him. So our poor Wibble is very broken. He's very sore. But he's here and we love him. And I hope you're feeling at least a little bit better. I know it's only been a few days, Wibble. But get well. Rest up. Take it easy. Make sure that the household looks after you.
I can't imagine there's probably a story behind that. But that is for a
It's not the most
different
interesting
show.
story, apparently.
Oh,
It
no.
was just a muddy slope. Muddy slope, slip, trip, bang. That's pretty much how he described it to me.
Well, you got to keep your footing out there, and we're wishing you a quick recovery. Well, Dorgon, what have you been up to? How have you been gaming this past week? What's been going on in your world? Tell us all about it.
Well, there's been a lot of gaming. I've been playing some Assassin's Creed Mirage because I'm trying to do a review on that at some point. I did a lot of work on my PlayStation Portal review, so that's now out if you want to go check that one out on my channel after the show. Otherwise, you and I went on a bit of a space adventure, didn't we? We jumped into No Man's Sky, but I was in the VR and you were on flat screen, and it was hilarious. Me trying to learn what was going on, you learning how VR worked in this world that you were very used to, and we had an absolute whale of a time last week, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely hilarious to see your arms so autonomous dancing around, and you were just beaming across the map. I'm like, how are you going to even traverse this? And then boom, you're like 100 feet in the next direction. I got uber jealous because you got to experience flying the ship right there in VR.
Don't
Feel
be too
the rumble,
jealous.
the DualSense. I can't imagine rocking around in the mech and having both arms, or driving around in the sub. I'm sure there's a whole, like, that must be the most expansive VR title that I can think of right now, because there is so much you can do in that game. And to have
Yeah, I
complete
would say
VR
so.
access and co-op, I mean, it just
Oh.
blows my mind.
The two of us just chilling and jamming, like not making content, just playing a game, for one, was beautiful and wonderful, and two, like it's a totally different game because you were explaining like how you do certain things, but then I didn't have that capability. I've got everything on my wrists. I've got to access things in my packs on my chest and on my back and such. So it was a very weird experience with the two very different sides of No Man's Sky, the VR side and the non-VR side, but absolutely fantastic that we could play together, that the VR world and the sort of 3D flat screen world could combine. Absolutely love that. I do hope more games can do that have co-op, that have VR integration. I mean, obviously, I think something like Gran Turismo 7 would be able to do that one. That's another one we'd have to try at some point. But I'm loving that world in VR, but it is like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops before the travel sickness just really starts hitting me. When we went into that hyperspace, I was done. That finished my session then.
Everything's coming at you. All the stars, everything. Yeah, I
going
get
down to the
intense,
planet
I'm sure.
upside down didn't help anything. It was, it
The
was
barrel rolls? Oh my goodness.
I mean, having to barrel roll to find where I was going, where I was landing, and then just dying on the floor. And you're like, "Come here, I want a photo." It's like, I need to die and throw up. Leave me alone.
Oh wow, Wibble says he's a day one player. Well, Wibble, I will say I'm a year 7 player. Just got into it on Black Friday, and I'm having an absolute blast. The entire world is filled with so much to do. The seamless crossplay allows me to play with anyone. I'm building huge bases for no reason. I have everything. So many planets explored. I've traveled to the ends of the universe. I'm absolutely in love with the title. The seamless ability to take off from the planet, leave that planet, go to the next planet in that system, and it's just so, it never leaves you. The immersion's always there, and you have to appreciate it. And I say that was one of the greatest experiences I've had this year, is just being blown away. I've been locked into that title, and the fact that only 50 people work at Hello Games and have put that together. Now, I get that it's been 7 years.
This year to shame, doesn't it?
Yeah, as Wibble is pointing out in the chat, honestly, it destroys Starfield. I am reading the chat. That is what I am doing. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's one of those games, and there's a Steam Awards event going on at the moment where you can vote for any game that's on Steam to win the Steam Awards through the course of the year. And one of those game award categories is the labor of love. And honestly, that's what No Man's Sky is. It launched in an absolutely catastrophic state, because it was nothing like what was promised, what was advertised. It basically felt like a false advertising game. And what they've then done is work to deliver that original vision and then go way beyond that. Like, VR was never imagined originally. So that's a huge addition, and to change that whole world into a VR scope and space is unbelievable. They've upgraded to next generation graphics. They've added new story content, new worlds, new processes, and what have you. And all of it has been for this one price. You buy the game, you get all of this. That, to me, is a labor of love. Everything else that adds to it over time, that gets new content year on year, you're asked to fork out and pay for it again, which means it's a profiteering gig. It's nothing to do with the labor of love. So that labor of love is, especially after what we've experienced recently, 100% No Man's Sky. But that is the definition of an ongoing labor of love to me.
Yeah, you have to appreciate it when passion hits development, when an idea is fully accomplished and thought through, and there's support behind it, and then it goes beyond. So I get it. I'm locked into that title. If you haven't seen it or stayed away and you're interested in exploration, base building, they've got combat, they've got mech combat, you can go get an animal pet. The entire game is just is everything to me, and I really think it's really well done. So hats off to them over there. They've done a great job. But let's get into the news.
Indeed,
What's been going on?
We've got stuff to get through. I mean, we've been away for 2 weeks. There's things to talk about.
Yes, there is. Let's get into this nice start. I thought this was nice. You sent this to me first thing this morning. And by the way, I am hoping, and I'm gonna keep locked in, and don't forget, I'm giving you remindership here, Dorgon, but I want to check and see if we get the December games before the end of the show. Because we should be getting December games on the Wednesday of the last of the month.
Before the Tuesday. Yeah. Watch it be, like, we'll get to the end of the show, there'll be nothing available, and then it'll be like half an hour after we finish. This is how this show goes. Yeah. Half an hour after we finish, new news comes through.
All right. Well, we have this effort that Sony Interactive Entertainment is putting forth, and that is to support biodiversity on our Earth, to help these degraded forest sites, to bring back life, and it's all based on Aloy's forest and taken from that design aspect and saying, wow, look at all of these. They had a goal, I believe, to plant 1 million trees, and they went beyond that with all of the efforts of the gaming community as a whole. So it's great to see. You know, a lot of these profits that go into the gaming communities is put back out there for the greater good at times, even though it's probably a tax write-off for these people, let's be honest. But hey, at least they're using it the right way, and planting trees is never a bad thing.
100%, especially when you see some of the stats on this video as well, like how much deforestation is going on, how many acres and hectares they've replanted. I think it was like something like 1,800 acres of trees have been replanted. Here in the UK, they're doing a massive push with the British wildflowers, which is amazing for our bee population, which is going to be good for the world population of bees. It's an initiative I didn't expect to come out of PlayStation and Sony Interactive Entertainment, but when you think about what worlds we've been getting from them recently, with God of War, with Horizon, with Ghost of Tsushima, the beauty of these worlds is the nature itself. You're within this nature, you're climbing these amazing rock formations, you're swinging from these beautiful trees and walking through these amazing vistas made by nature. It makes sense when they have taken such heavy inspiration and made such a big thing from it in their titles to give back to it in our real world. And it kind of shocked me that this just popped up, but it was also a really nice, beautiful thing just to start off your midweek. I was quite nicely surprised by it. Seems like they're doing good work all in all, especially from what people in specific areas say towards the end of the video.
I agree. Good to see. Well, let's continue down the news. And we have a strategic partnership. Now, I read through this. It is not an acquisition, but a strategic partnership with a focus on mobile. And it looks to me as Jim Ryan had sort of penned this, I guess, before he was out the door, working on this deal, it says in the article. And we're talking about Guild Wars and Blade Soul. I have not experienced either of these games, but they are hugely popular. The company employs 5,000 people worldwide, so not a small operation at all. Do you have any insight into NCSoft?
There's not a huge amount of insight I can offer, except for the fact that PlayStation actually partnered with them about 10 years ago as well, back when they had a device called the Xperia Play. It was basically the PlayStation phone. So you had your screen, and then the screen slid up to reveal a DualShock underneath. So it gave you 2 analog sticks, a D-pad, and the face buttons. It also had triggers on the top. It had an L1 and an R1 button. And they partnered with them back during that device to make PlayStation mobile games that took advantage of the hardware that they put out in this particular title. A lot of it was porting like PlayStation 1 titles like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, and all those sort of experiences across to their particular mobile phone. But it also came to the Vita as well, and there were some very interesting and very unique takes on PlayStation properties that came from that partnership. I'm hoping it goes a little bit further this time. Yes, NC Soft are notorious for pay to win, as Whipplesniff is saying in chat. So Guild Wars is a huge pay to win type game. But at the same time, if they're kept as, say, microtransactions, so actually small transactions, 50 pence, 50 cents here.
Uh-oh. We have a cutout on Dorgon. Hopefully he's back with us momentarily.
I'm back. Yeah,
Hey,
I
back.
don't know what happened.
Pick up. But you were saying 50 pence here, 50 pence there, small
yeah,
microtransactions.
50 pence here, $1 there. They're small transactions, and that can fund either new games or the AAA games. The problem we're facing in like the gaming space at the moment is our big AAA titles are costing so much to make that they're needing to make their money back when they sell them. This is why we're seeing £70, £80, £90, £300 copies of games and so on. So if they can be subsidized with the microtransactions from these mobile titles, and bear in mind, there are 3 billion weekly mobile gamers, which dwarfs the 170 million console gamers in the world by magnitudes of levels. So if a couple of them are throwing a bit of money at one of these games and it just keeps going along and ticking and doing its thing, but we get either stagnant prices or better prices in the console space, I'm all for it. My other thought on this is, given the acquisition of the London company earlier this year that gives you higher level streams at lower bit rates and the rollout of PlayStation 5 game streaming, we could well see a mobile phone application for PlayStation Cloud gaming. It's a bit of a stretch, bit of a leap, but things are sort of coming together to knit that into place, I feel.
Wow, that could be a good, nice little connect the dots there. We will see. It's a prediction made here. Dorgon is the predictor of doom, but sometimes he predicts nice things too.
This is a good thing.
Yeah. The last thing I'll take away from this article is just over a year ago, it was reported Sony is making a Horizon MMO for smartphones with the help of NC Soft. So I assume that the game development is going extremely well. They're happy with it, and they're announcing a strategic partnership. And very soon, this Horizon game, I think, will be hitting mobile devices.
Fingers crossed. All the artwork I've seen from it, it's very cutesy, but it's very cool, and I quite like it.
Yeah.
It works with a phone. So I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping it works at least as well as something like Genshin Impact does on mobile.
PS Portal outsells Xbox Series X and S during launch week in Spain. Well,
those are
okay,
not headlines you want as Xbox, is it?
I mean, this picture's ridiculous, but I want to say one thing, and I'm going to give it to Xbox here. I mean, the PS Portal literally just launched, and there's going to be hype around a new device versus a device that is more expensive and has been out for longer. So I will want a preference with that. But the pointing it out here that the PS Portal is doing well in its sales.
I think what this points out more, like 6,000 devices in Spain alone, it does sound like a lot, but also when you consider what the population of Spain is, it's a literal drop in the ocean sort of thing. I think the big thing here is that the Xbox in Europe really doesn't have any form of foothold. Like 2,000 units across an entire country in a week. I mean, it's nothing. There's no wonder they're moving more towards like the software side of things over on the green side of the fence, because obviously the hardware is not working for them. They're not getting that foothold with the hardware, so they're having to try something different, and power to them. If it comes off, like, it's good for competition in the industry. But it's a stat I really didn't expect, because I didn't think this thing was going to have any form of like player base at all. I bought it to make a video on it. That was it. But so many people are buying it, loving it, and raving about it across the internet. So good on Portal, good on Microsoft for switching it up, trying to do something new, but it's a shocking stat to find that they're only selling like 2,000 in Spain in a week.
Well, I guess you'll have to brand yourself something like the PS Portal heads. I don't think that'll
Please
stick,
no.
but
Don't want me in there. do not do that to me.
Oh man. Well, hey, it's good to see. I love the little device. If I had mobile applications for it, I just always game in the same chair, so it's hard to justify it. But I do appreciate.
Have you never
the
played
technology.
a game in the bath?
No.
Have you never been relaxing in the bath, set up a tablet, done remote play, and just thought, "This is the life"?
I mean, that does sound good. That does sound good, I will say.
Add a glass of wine or something, a nice whiskey or whatever your favorite tipple is. It could be an alcohol-free one, it could be a soft drink, a cup of tea, whatever the case may be. That is the pinnacle of relaxation, my man, I tell you.
Oh, in my last place, I had the nice jacuzzi tub, too, with the jets. Oh my gosh.
Remote play in the jacuzzi, bring it on, yeah.
One day again. Well, the court rules a $5 billion lawsuit. Well, what do you call that?
That's a
billion
pound sign.
Pound, yeah.
That is the pound sign, yeah. So it's about 7.6 billion US dollars.
Again, Sony can go ahead following years of excessive PS Store prices. Now, I saw the article on this, and it seems to me like somebody's just got a vendetta against PlayStation, as all other gaming ecosystems do the exact same thing. So why has this push from Neil's lawsuit kind of pushed through and gotten this sort of traction like it is? I'm not sure. What do you think about it?
I think if they win, it will be great for gamers worldwide. This is about digital pricing because the digital storefronts at the moment are monopolistic. I think the only place you can say isn't is Xbox, because you can get the Xbox games at exactly the same time, at exactly the same price on other platforms like PC, like Linux, but you can also get them at different prices further down the line. So if there's a sale on the Xbox store, you can get a better price there than you can on Steam or the Microsoft PC store or wherever the case may be. You can play them in multiple places. That's not something that you can do with a Sony item. Like Marvel Spider-Man 2 right now, the only place that you can play that is on the PlayStation 5. To do that, you need to buy a PlayStation 5. You then need to purchase that game on the PlayStation 5. And if you are buying the new version of the PlayStation, which doesn't come with a disc drive by default, you have to add that on after the fact. If you buy that new one and it's digital only, the only way and only place that you can buy that game is on that piece of hardware with the 30% markup on that digital storefront. And with the rules of that digital storefront as well, if you download that game, so not even play it, but download that game, and then decide you don't want it, tough, you've downloaded it, it's yours forever, you've got to keep it now, you will not get a refund for it. So it's the practices of the PlayStation Store, the 30% over the top that they take to run the store, and the fact that there's nowhere else to be able to buy these games digitally and the digital rules around it, that is giving impetus and credence to this lawsuit. Now, if this lawsuit wins, what it will do is force Sony to take a lower cut on the PlayStation Store, offer these digital products on other places, even if it's just maybe codes on CD keys or something like that, for example, at a discounted rate because you don't have to host them on the PlayStation Store. If it's a case of offering them through their own PC store or a third-party PC store that can offer their own sales and such on them, whatever the case may be, it could and should lower prices on digital games for all PlayStation users. And if that goes through and that happens, that then sets a precedent for other digital marketplaces. Switch, for example, is only the one digital marketplace. If Sony get bent over and told to change their ways, the same would happen to Nintendo, the same would happen to Microsoft, the same could happen to Steam with the Steam Deck as well. This could be a great thing for gamers worldwide. These 30%, there's multiple different lawsuits across multiple different countries going on at the moment. One's happening in America between Epic Games and Google and Apple at the moment because of the 30% that they take on their stores and so on. I foresee a long difficult court battle. I don't know what is going to win here, but the fact that the judge has said, yeah, it can go through, you've obviously got enough evidence and enough of a case to take it to tribunal. It's got a possibility of winning, and as long as they bring the fire and like we don't do the kangaroo courts that the American ones do, so it could have long-lasting implications for the gaming space moving forward, and hopefully positive ones.
Well, I guess we'll see. Business be business, though. I mean, I always assumed the fair thing to do, and that's coming from the world of construction back then, 15% profit from what you're doing in what you're doing to pay for things. But they went and they doubled that to 30. So what I feel is fair is bring it back to 15. Have your marketplace, I understand, but the 30 seems a little excessive for me. Just looking at other industries. What up, Ron Slusher?
Hey, Ron, welcome, mate. Yeah, it's like I say, the 30% feels egregious, and I know that they're doing all the hosting, they're doing all the work to make the store, they've got the ecosystem that people are coming through, and it's the one way to get people to those games and such, and they can argue it all they want, but as you say, it is a big margin, and when they're doing it on every single game, even on sales, they're taking that 30% sort of thing, so it's like, yeah, maybe it is time to change tack and lower that margin, or do something different.
Yeah. Well, let's open it up to something a bit more exciting. We'll be following that lawsuit, giving you updates as it happens, so stay tuned here. But people excited for the VR world? I saw this when you sent it to me, and it looked very cool. It very cool.
Awesome.
So we're looking at Arken Age, and this is going to be a VR epic, and I believe we're seeing that it is confirmed for the PSVR2 here. That's what the article reads.
Yes.
And
yes, we're getting a PSVR2. I believe it's on MetaQuest 2 and 3 as well. PC VR later down the line.
What we have here is a 10-hour epic single-player story campaign, swords, guns, enemies. Like, this game looks like they are making progress in the VR world. It's very exciting looking. It's very combat intense. Swords and guns are staples of fun video game mechanics. So, I mean, here it is. In the VR world.
Everything, yeah. Everything you could want in one. As Wibble says, this looks like a cup of me right here. Perfect. That is the best way to describe it. Like, single player, guns, swords, big action adventure. There's some zipline stuff going on at some point as well. And with the OLED screens in the PSVR 2, this is going to look absolutely stunning. I really want to get my hands on this one. This one looks, as Wib said, right up my street. Right up my street. I am excited for this one. I've only seen this one trailer for it. I'm in. I feel like I'm in on this one. As long as it's not a room scale VR, because apparently that doesn't bloody work in my house. Even when I've got a ruler on the floor, got a tape measure on the floor that says, oh yeah, I've got the 2 meters by 2 meters square, the PSVR 2 doesn't recognize it.
What always gets me is how do they do movement and traversal? And you can see him, or the character, the VR character, strafing here. And I just look at, they are jumping forward. So I'm always curious as to how they do the traversal. So I wonder how you're going to be moving and operated, because it seems so like flawless in its movement. It's
different in different games. So Horizon Call of the Mountain, it's a quick flick of the stick, and that gives you your left and right strafe. In Synapse, you've got full stick control, so you're not teleporting like I was doing with you in No Man's Sky. You are on the stick, you are running forward, you are going left, you're going right. The rotation's on your head as well, so it's not like a stick rotation, although you can do that if you so wish. This looks to be a bit more down the Synapse route, but the strafe, the left and right, I'm assuming it's all on this left stick on your Sense controller, most of the movement, and then the looking around, the ducking, the dodging, and maybe even the jumping that you saw there, that could be your own body, because Horizon, you can jump in it, but you have to physically jump, which I've only broken one light doing that, just the one. Beware the jumping in VR, it can be dangerous.
Ron, I love the troll. Lawsuit simulator coming soon. That's awesome. FCAT in the house. What's going on? Welcome, welcome. Sit down, pull up a chair. And we got Ray, the gaming cyborg. Yo, yo. And we have Zen Bloke. You just popped into my suggested feed.
Well, Zen Bloke, welcome. It's good to have you here. If I slip into an Aussie accent when I'm saying bloke, I do apologise. Was raised by a 10-pound pom and lived over there for 3 years. The word bloke has to be said Aussie. I'm sorry.
Well, welcome, welcome. We are the Super PlayStation Bros, weekly PlayStation podcast. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share, or just sit down, chill, while we talk everything PlayStation this week. I love
You're Scottish, Zen Bloke. Oh, nice. I'm not going to go there. My sister-in-law's Scottish, and I've been shot twice for doing a terrible Scottish accent. I'm not going to do it for you now.
Well, welcome, welcome. I'm Canadian myself, and we have Doragon from the UK. And now these
English
huge
bit, though. Don't pay attention.
These huge bosses are what bring me to games. They make it exciting. Having this element in VR with something that's bigger than the screen. Look, it's like 2 stories tall here. It's very enticing.
It's
hey, a fellow content creator.
Hey, nice. I'll check you out after the stream, my friend. Definitely. For me, the PSVR2 was my first home VR experience. We've got a VR arcade down the road from where I live. Ironically, right next to Tesco. So you go and get your milk, and then you go into the VR arcade, or vice versa, whichever way around you want to do it. So that was my first experience, and it was great. It was good. It convinced me that I wanted VR. But then when I got the PSVR2 at home, and the first thing that I saw in it was a tall neck from Horizon just stepping over me, just watching this foot come above me across and being so giant, like skyscraper size. It changed my idea of gaming immersion. Just being there, watching and witnessing just that moment was so far beyond anything else I had understood in gaming up until that point. Anybody who gets the chance to just experience the start of that game, highly recommend.
I'm here for the PlayStation tax. There's no PlayStation tax. If anything, I look forward to the Game Awards.
It's all made up. There's no PlayStation tax, no Xbox tax, no Nintendo tax. If anything, there's a bit of a Nintendo bias across the industry, but can you blame them? They've worked hard to get to that point.
I mean, it's kind of like they were there first, right? So they have that nostalgia cemented.
They are the originator. You pay homage, always.
I mean, yeah. I mean, of course, you can go back even further to Atari and such things like that, but they brought that console experience, I think. I mean, I wasn't even around back then, but
no,
let's jump back into things where we were around for, and that is The Last of Us Part 2 Remaster. Now, people are asking, why is there a remaster happening 3 years after launch? The game looks already so amazing. I mean, how could they possibly make it look better? I mean, if you played them, which I just had a playthrough of Last of Us Part 2, the game looks like a generational PS5 game. So, God damn it. They made it look better. I haven't seen this trailer yet, but right there when they zoom in on Ellie, they made it look better. Look at Joel. God damn it. How did they... They did make it look better.
You watched this.
I didn't. I was like, why do I need to watch this? I just played through the game literally like 3 weeks ago. I'm like, I've seen everything. Like looking at it right now.
No.
Well, I played the PS4 version.
So yeah, it's obviously looking better. Your reaction, having just played it, having just witnessed it, that's probably the best reaction I have seen in the industry, because you know it side by side. So yeah, that is the best reaction. Oh my God, they've made it look even better. For me, that's not enough on its own, but what they've also done is add a bunch of content to it. So there's the Lost Levels that they're calling it, which are basically part-made areas that were in development, that were going to be part of the game, that are likely going to be part of season 2 of the television show, that you can go around and explore. You can play in them, you can explore as far as these areas are built, and there will be director commentary and developer commentary whilst you are in these areas, telling you what the plan was for this area, how it was going to affect the story, where the build got up to, why it stopped, and all this sort of stuff, which I personally think is going to be fantastically interesting. They're also adding in a roguelike mode. I can't quite remember the name of it, but essentially they've got 10 little levels that come together, and then they procedurally generate enemy types, enemy quantities, spawns, weapon types, and all this sort of stuff. And you basically have to survive as long as you possibly can in this roguelike. There is apparently an endpoint to it as well, and there will be leaderboards. It's just one of those natural longevity additional mode type things to the game. But what they've also done is stick a fancier coat of paint on it whilst they're doing all of this updating and additional content, and they're going to charge you $10 or £10 to play it. For me, just for the additional content, I think that £10 is going to be worth it. I love the work that Naughty Dog put out. I personally don't think it needed the fresh coat of paint, but then saying that, the first game got a fresh coat of paint less than a year after it launched. It launched in 2013, around June or July 2013. And then by February 2014, it had a remaster on the PlayStation 4. So we've done like more than 3 times the length of the last game before that got remastered, sort of thing. But yeah, with the additional content, I'm all on board. This looks great. This looks like the sort of addition to a game that I personally want. So I'm happy to pay that £10 for it.
Hey, I completely agree. $10 for DLC. I think what they did was they heard what happened when they last remastered the game, like Last of Us, and they heard the audience and they said, well, if we want to remaster, we want a bit more. And that's what we're getting this time. I mean, the lost levels, the rogue mode, I'll be jumping in just to experience the rogue mode. And that'll be my draw into seeing what this game is. Plus, I saw you got to play as Dina there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
A bunch of different characters. I do believe you can even play as Joel, which for the OGs will be very nostalgic, interesting, and cool. I believe you can play as Tommy and Abby and a couple of others. I'm actually excited about that roguelike mode. It does sort of destroy the message of the main game a little bit, ending the cycle of violence and what have you, when the roguelike mode is just a cycle of violence. But it does also look really fun.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, look forward to seeing it. It's coming out in January, and when I thought I had nothing coming out in January, giving you a little something. Now,
something.
It's been 2 weeks. I thought we've already covered this, but since it's so exciting, I'm just going to jump into a tiny little bit of it here. Wolverine gets a target window of 2025 in the holiday season. So cool to see. I hope we start to see promo rolling out for this. I believe we covered this the last week, but it's exciting to see.
I think it was about a month ago. I think it was actually before the launch of Spider-Man 2 we last covered this, because they were talking about a 2024 release at that point, which seems tight, but then when you consider there's 2 teams working at Insomniac, they were developing Wolverine whilst Spider-Man was being developed, and so on and so forth. That's no real surprise that 2025 is the more realistic time frame, considering we've only had that one CG trailer up till now. But at the same time, we only had the one CG trailer of Spider-Man 2 for nearly 3 years until we got more information less than 6 months before launch. So I'm okay with it taking as long as it needs to be a polished and refined experience. I don't want the buggy mess that we had with Spider-Man 2 again. I want to return to what we had in, say, Miles Morales and Marvel's Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, that sort of level of quality. So by all means, take all the time you need, Insomniac. You tend to churn out great games, but fingers crossed they start paying their staff correctly, and whatever strikes are coming with SAG-AFTRA aren't going to impact this game too heavily. But if they do, stand with the union.
Awesome. Now this news is awesome. Now everyone here, if you're part of PlayStation Plus, I believe, and you can go into this. I read it over and now I've forgotten. You get access to Apple TV today. 3-month subscription as part of your PS Plus subscription. So I think this is an awesome added benefit if you're looking for content over the holiday. It's awesome to add in. Oh no, Dorgon. Man, I keep promising him I'm going to stop using Video Ninja. And I never do. And I feel like this is my fault, people. So do not blame Dorgon. Hopefully we can get him back. Uno momento. Okay, he completely disappeared. Okay. Well, we will keep going on here. So, if you're excited to see, check it out. So what you need to do is download the Apple TV app on your PlayStation, and then you have access to a limited 3-month extended trial on PS4 and PS5. Cool to see. A lot of great content coming out on the Apple TV these days, and they have a massive backlog. Dorgon is back, if you haven't already seen. Now, the movie here they're promoting is the 2017 film Kong Skull Island. I'm not sure why you don't want to play Kong Skull Island or put money into that, but this is cool. I love to see added benefits like this.
It's not the first
Dorgon.
time it's been added. It won't be the last. Apple TV Plus or Apple TV or whatever the heck they're calling it nowadays. It's had some absolute bangers recently, and that Godzilla one is right up there. I know Wibblesniff has really been liking that one personally. It's cool. Yeah, added benefit. Bring it. I won't be using it. I've got nothing to watch Apple TV on.
Or your PlayStation.
Nothing. Oh, can you watch it on the PlayStation?
Yeah, that's what they're telling you here.
Oh,
you
okay.
download.
Oh, I might give it a go then. I might give it a go.
On your PS4 and your PS5, so you can download it directly. You can watch it in the headset if you want it. Just sit back, sit with the app, right?
My 200-inch screen. Yes, that'd be great.
There you go. Absolutely. Hey, Miss Phoenix, thanks for coming by. Welcome. Pull up a chair. We're talking Apple TV Plus, and you get limited 3-month access. So be sure to download the app on your PlayStation, boot it up, and get into some new content that you haven't yet explored. I know Apple TV is kind of... No! Why, Dorgon? Why are we having this jumpiness? We're going to have a meeting after this, and he's going to be like, change Video Ninja. I will. I promise. After this, for sure. But cool to see. Don't miss out on this one, because it's only available for a limited time. Jump onto it. All right. Now, coming up next, we have PlayStation's sports game, and that is MLB The Show's 23 fall lineup brings this year's best content to the offseason. So what I can read is this is season 6 of the baseball. And even though the baseball season may be over, we're going to bring in all of the modes that you loved throughout the past seasons and kind of combine them into one. So create your lineup from sets 1 through 5, develop your all-time best team, so putting together your all-star team essentially. This game has been a massive franchise for PlayStation, and it is looking phenomenal these days. I always found it interesting. We have audio. Where do we... Okay, we have you on a different link. Okay, let me bring your link over here. We have Dorgon back here. Sorry about all of this. We are definitely not going to be using Video Ninja after this show. Dorgon.
I am now on mobile data. I have hotspotted to my phone because it just keeps killing off my Wi-Fi connection, and I don't understand why.
Are we in for Dragon's Dogma 2, Rue? I hope so. I mean, coming out for March, it's going to be a massive co-op adventure game. I love the fact you can just jump onto the bosses and start striking them. I think it's cool to see. Dragon's Dogma was actually released on, the first title was released on this PlayStation Plus lineup, so I think they're just building the hype up before March. So definitely hope to see you out on the battlefield, because you know I'll be there. I wanted you to explain this, and you may explain this to me, but why does PlayStation own MLB? What is with that?
It's a licensing agreement, same as EA owning FIFA, same as it is EA now, but previously Codemasters owning the Formula One licensing agreements. The Santa Monica studio signed that agreement, wanted to make baseball games, wanted to make official baseball games, so they signed that licensing agreement and off they went. How those contracts come into fruition, that I don't rightly know, but they've been making them so well for so long now. The only change to the deal has been it has to go multi-platform. It can't just be a PlayStation exclusive anymore, which I don't think PlayStation or Santa Monica Studio have got any form of problem with, because there are a lot of baseball fans in the US and Japan. And if they can play them on multiple platforms, they'll play them on multiple platforms. So more money for both parties involved. And of course, MLB with their licensing agreement. Just good all round for everybody involved, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. I think it's a unique partnership. I always thought it was interesting to see. I think they're doing extremely well with it, like you said. And I just think it's a business decision that I think is proven to do them well. And if you're gonna do one sports game, just pick one and do it well. I like that approach. No, don't try to get them all. Just do one very well. So kudos to baseball.
If you do try to get them all, do it as a publishing house, not as an individual developer.
Right. I will point out, Miss Phoenix mentioned in chat she's not sure about Forspoken. Forspoken is amazing. I keep saying it's like adult Harry Potter. It's a more mature setting. It's
no. Adult Harry Potter is Lord of the Rings. Forspoken is trying to be Lord of the Rings and not quite getting there. Like, for the price that Miss Phoenix is talking about, £10, it's a phenomenal game for a tenner. It truly is. I picked it up for £25 on eBay a while back, and I've enjoyed it for £25. There is nothing wrong with the game. It's just, I understand if you've spent, say, £70-80 on it, like a lot of people did back in January, it wasn't great for that. But for a tenner, you can't really go wrong.
I absolutely, like, the game is a full, like, I feel like the era of subscription has sort of put this cheapening on games. People expect games for cheaper. They expect it to be a part of a subscription pass. I honestly feel like this game does deserve a full title AAA. It's a big experience with its own DLC pack, which expands the story if you want more. The map is huge, ticking off all of these bosses. The monsters, they demand different play styles, different abilities. The magical parkour, the traversal. When traversal is more fun than fast travel, you have done something right. The whipping around, I really think Forspoken is a great game. I truly think that, and I would recommend it to anyone. It's a lot of fun.
Boss, may I just say something?
All right,
if you are playing it, play it on headphones, because for some reason the dialogue comes out of both the TV speakers and the DualSense speaker. It is distracting, annoying, and it's terrible quality out of the DualSense, so put some headphones on if you're playing this game.
Oh, I didn't notice. I always play with headphones, so that's a new one for me. I never
it's a weird
noticed.
And bad design choice.
Yeah. FCat wants to see Doragon Quantum Error. I have not jumped into that game, but I know they're trying to make it an epic AAA title and series even. So, but yeah.
Yeah, because they announced a trilogy before the first one released, didn't they?
Yeah, that's the odd move. The trilogy.
Yeah, that felt. By all means, have your plans for the trilogy, have your story laid out, and all your plans of how it's going to work. But you have to play the market as well a little bit. And I've not heard a damn thing on it since it came out. I forgot it had actually launched. That's how much I've heard about Quantum Error. So I may have to go down a rabbit hole that is going to destroy my YouTube algorithm, but it'll be interesting.
Now, Zenbloke said Sony is making money across multiple platforms, well, from the big two, by creating this sports game, right? And it being released on multiple platforms. So we see more of this. I think even if we saw this from Forspoken, it would have done better. I think there is a place for exclusives, but in that same place, there's an equal argument to spreading it around to multiple platforms. So it's hard to get the best of both worlds, I think.
Yeah, it's more the third-party exclusives that I'd argue against exclusivity. Like you said, both Forspoken and Final Fantasy 16, they have their fans. There's a lot of people who like both of those games. I am a huge advocate for Final Fantasy 16. I think it was an absolutely excellent experience this year, despite the maybe not so Final Fantasy-esque feeling of it, which is probably what I liked about it. But I understand the Final Fantasy fans saying, hey, this isn't our series, bugger off sort of thing. But if they had released on multiple platforms at once, I know FF16 is coming to PC, but if it had launched on PC at the same time, can you imagine the impetus behind that with all your PC gamers and your PlayStation gamers playing that game at the same time? Would have dwarfed anything else in the month of release. It really would have done, but your PC gamers are still waiting for Final Fantasy 16. Forspoken did launch on PC at the same time, but it ran terribly on PC. So if had it launched on Xbox, which is basically the same architecture as the PS5, they could have done better. So yeah, there is an argument to be made against the whole exclusivity for third parties. But your first parties, sometimes, yes, it makes sense, like Bungie's Destiny 2 and Marathon being multi-platform, because they've been multi-platform for so long. It just makes sense for that team and those games to stay multi-platform. Major League Baseball, the show, it's a sporting game that a lot of people want to play on a lot of different platforms. Makes sense for that to be multi-platform, but I do not think things like God of War and Spider-Man should be multi-plat, because they are made by in-house PlayStation studios for the PlayStation hardware specifically. And I don't think Starfield or Redfall or Halo should be multi-plat, because they are in-house Xbox titles that give the Xbox edge when they need it. Exclusives are good, but to a degree.
Yeah, well said. There's a place. There's a time and a place. We have some
Before you
PlayStation.
carry on, Zenbloke, been an absolute pleasure. Take care, buddy. We'll see you next time.
Oh, thanks for watching the chat. Yes, thank you. Thank you for stopping on by. Don't forget, we're on weekly.
Stephen, I'm assuming it's
Stevenson Multi.
Yeah, thank you for the sub.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Hello, Belgium. Hello. Welcome.
Fall off my chair.
Uh-oh. We're excited here. And we got Fan Bands Metal Worldwide. What's going on? Hey, thanks for stopping on by.
More metalheads in the chat. This is what we like. This is what we need. You've got the hair for it. I've got the ears for it. We need more metalheads.
Welcome. We're chatting PlayStation like we do on the weekly. Stay tuned. Here we go. Getting back to it. PlayStation Plus games catalog for November. You probably already are aware of this, but we've been gone last week. I just wanted to touch down. If you're excited for Dragon's Dogma, which is coming up in March, like Wibble is, you can get into the hype playing the first one on PS Plus, as well as huge day one release Teardown. I call it reverse Minecraft. You essentially destroy things instead of building.
Have you killed yourself in it yet?
No, I have not killed myself. Uh-oh.
So you know the first level? Like, this isn't spoiler for anybody going in.
The first level to work on.
You're just destroying stuff anyhow. there's a like a palette of explosive tanks. Now the idea is you take these explosive tanks, get rid of the foundations of a really solid bit of the house, and then you can knock the rest down. What I did was pick the entire palette up, knock it a bit too hard against the corner of the house, and blow myself to kingdom come. Apparently you can die in this game.
Wow, that is hard to do. I hope you got an achievement for that one, a little trophy.
I don't think I did. I just died.
Oh well. It's an interesting game. It doesn't listen all too much to physics, as I had an entire building standing on one single brick. But it's good time if you just want to sit down and destroy
You've never
stuff.
played with Lego. Seriously, I mean, I've had Lego
Even
houses
Lego
standing on a
has
single brick.
physics. Come on,
No,
Lego
it
has
doesn't.
physics.
Lego does not have physics. Lego lies to you about the construction industry.
The whole reason I became an architect was because of Lego, but that's a different podcast. This one I wanted to jump into, the PS1 Racer Jet Moto. It's on now the PS4 PS5, so if you're into high-speed racing and you like the retro, I thought this was a cool flashback. And then you have Up! Disney's Up! Isn't that fun? They have a game. So if you want to jump into that, oh my gosh, and Up making me emotional in the first 10 minutes of a movie, damn you. So cool stuff to see. Check it out. Part of PS Plus. FCat's got a question.
Fire away.
Should I platinum Destiny 2 or Immortals of Avium? Well, platinuming Destiny 2 is honestly just progressing, I think, through like 10 hours of the game. Not even. You should already have the platinum, FCat, if you've played somewhat any of Destiny 2. It's very easy to
because they've
get.
changed the platinum around though multiple times because of like the content vaults and stuff. I think one of the challenges now is to complete a Grandmaster Nightfall, which if he needs we can get him through. But my sort of response question would be, which one are you closer to? If you're closer to one than the other, go for that one. If you think that one might be easier than the other, go for that one, and then just do the other one thereafter. And if you need help with certain games, fire us a message, and if we're available, we'll help out.
Absolutely. But Immortals of Avium, I know that's a personal favorite of yours, FCat, and it would be fitting for you to get the platinum on that one.
I am sort of agreeing with Miss Phoenix here, though. Why not both?
Ooh, double plat.
2 platinums is better than 1.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Challenge is put forth in front of you, FCat. Dragon's Dogma arrives March 22nd of 2024 on the PS5. Well, I know that Wibble Sniff is excited for this one. Oh, am I not logged in? Wow, come on now.
This is the problem with the PlayStation website. Because it has an authentication token, it will log you out semi-regularly, which is the problem with remote play on things like phones, tablets, laptops and such as well. It will periodically log you out, and then you've got to log in to get back into your remote play, whereas when you take this sort of thing, that's permanently logged in. You never have to log back into that, which is actually quite nice for the remote play side of things. It's just other bits of it.
Now, as we look over this trailer for Dragon's Dogma 2, a highly anticipated Capcom game, and we know Capcom does great things with game development. They have for years. Fan Bands Metal Worldwide asks, what do you think of PC games? Personally, I feel PC gaming allows for the ceiling to be lifted on performance for games. So if you would like to crank up your performance to ultra high max settings, really see the most of ray tracing that technology has to offer, I believe with the money invested, you can get the absolute highest performance of these games. However, there is a price tag associated with that, and it's really for the enthusiasts who absolutely love the top performance, top frames, top graphics. I believe there's nothing wrong with that, and all those, have the great time with your stuff. and your hardware and enjoy your
you,
gaming.
You do think there's something wrong with PC gaming?
The mouse and keyboard.
Mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I just assumed you're using a controller.
Mouse and keyboard.
So I am anti-mouse and keyboard for sure. That is not a way to game. You should not be gaming mouse and keyboard. It should be a controller. Controllers are extensions of yourself in the gaming world. When you go to a mouse and keyboard, it's like you're working. It's like a game that you're working at. There's so many buttons. It's the alphabet. That's not a game controller. You're anyways. It's the mouse is nothing. You're just moving here and there and clicking, and then you're pressing WASD. Are you? I have some serious complaints with mouse and keyboard people, and then of course they have a massive advantage. They're just like slightly moving things here and there, like micro movements versus my thumb. You have your whole hand versus my thumb, and then you're getting into a PvP game with me, and it's just. It's frustrating. It's frustrating that keyboard gamers are allowed to. Anyways, I've probably lost Band's medal. He's probably gone, or they're probably gone. We've lost all medal worldwide audience across the thing. Listen, if you love mouse and keyboard, I'm not gonna hate you for it. These are my own opinions.
He might just hate you slightly.
The only thing I will say about PC gaming, which I will give it to the console gaming, is the boardroom, the business room, the decisions of procuring IPs for exclusivity. Now, PC is becoming more open to a lot of these Sony PlayStation games. They're seeing that they can sort of dip in the console and the PC world and benefit greatly there. But yeah, I'll say that on my thoughts on PC gaming, even though this is a PlayStation podcast.
Hey, there's PlayStation games on PC. It is an adjacent topic to be talking about, and some of those PlayStation games need incredibly high-spec PCs to run as smoothly as they can do, like Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Whilst it says, oh yeah, I can definitely run on a HDD, it can't. It can't. You need at least a solid state drive for that thing to run. But yeah, like games, wherever you want to play them, I think the good thing about PC is you can access stuff from basically everywhere, whether you're doing it through emulation, whether you're doing it through legitimate routes. And because both Xbox and PlayStation launch their games on PC now, granted at different stages, but you get those games on the PC. Plus you get those PC exclusive games. You can't play CSGO or League of Legends and co on any of the consoles. It's probably one of the better places to play, if not the best place to play, as Rudig said, if you've got the money to fund the initial investment, which I don't, which is a bit of an issue.
Well,
hence the cheap box downstairs.
Well, cool to see we have Dragon's Dogma obviously expanding on the lore that Capcom created. These Cap people kind of freak me out, to be honest, but go them. It reminds me of Skyrim, to be honest, a lot of this world. Oh my gosh, espresso. But great to see. I look forward to it. Dragon's Dogma, Wibble and I are teaming up.
I will be happy to lose you two for a month come March 2024.
Oh, well, I'll probably get through Final Fantasy Rebirth before then. We have Destiny 2 doing a collab with The Witcher. Have you jumped in and checked it out? I am not going to get into buying the skins myself. I was not a Witcher player, but I mean, this has got to excite a lot of people and soften the news that they just released.
Yeah, The Witcher is such a huge IP, and these partnerships that they've been having with the likes of Ubisoft, with the likes of Fortnite, with the likes of CD Projekt Red and co now, they're very good for people who want that fashion game. The price of these things is extortionate. One of these outfits costs more than The Witcher 3 and all of its DLC on the PlayStation Store at the moment. So I don't like the prices at all, but the aesthetics, they're bob on. They are so Witcher. I haven't jumped into Season of the Witch yet. I haven't jumped into Season of the Witch yet. So that's last season. I've just had too many games outside of Destiny to be playing, and that's absolutely fine. Yeah, games don't need to take over your entire life. They don't need to give you FOMO. Now you can return to them when you so fancy. So I like what I'm seeing in aspects. I don't like what I'm seeing in other aspects. I've got to jump into it and try at some point. I don't have the money to be throwing at these cosmetics at the moment, especially not at the prices that they are. But in terms of how they look so dang cool. So cool.
Yeah, I'd agree. You don't always have to be playing the game. Jump back in when you want. It's cool that they're introducing finally the 15th wish. I know lots of people have been looking forward to that. There's a lot of lore around the 15th wish. And Sam, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We're going to fire the Stream Elements bot. Definitely going to get some updates on there soon to not pick you up
so
for
we're
using
firing
emojis.
This program that we make it through. Then we're firing the bot. Oh,
There's some restructuring. There's some restructuring happening here. As well as, I'm sorry, fan bands. I had 59 bugs with the normal, comfortable Spider-Man 2 game. I still suffer mentally.
Oh, yeah. Mate, I'm right there with you. I had a litany of... I listed them in my review, and that list went on for about 7 minutes. I was like, I've got to stop listing them now, otherwise it's just going to sound like a hate speech.
Well,
but yeah, I had a lot of bugs going through that game too. I understand.
This piece of the lore, it does interest me. I do have the Last Wish title. That means I did complete this raid with an entire team without dying. Petra's Run. What? Brag. So I'd have to get back into it.
That is a brag.
I'd have to get back into it and definitely see what this 15th wish is. It's cool that they build on sort of fan lore like this. And so that's something that they do well. And that is communicate with the community. November 28th, coming right around now, actually. It launched yesterday.
It came out, yeah.
So I'll have to go YouTube what the 15th wish is. Cool to see. All right, we are coming close to the end here. We got a couple more things.
Have they released the information?
Oh,
because
yes.
if you haven't seen us before, what we do is we run this show and we go through all of the things that we want to talk about, and then immediately after we finish and hang up the phone, PlayStation go, hey, we've got some more big news that you would really want to cover on your show if you were still live. So we are checking before we go offline this time. Have they announced what the PlayStation Plus Essential games are for December?
All right, let me check that out. While Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2 seeks new employment, so another VR title coming to the PSVR2, which is a freaky one. I don't think I'd ever play Haunted Chuck E. Cheese, to be honest.
No, I don't like horror games at the best of times, and I don't like them because I find them predictable. But I think in VR it wouldn't be the predictability. Like the jump scares when you're actually feeling like you're there are going to be so much worse. So much worse. So yeah, I'm not up for Five Nights at Freddy's in VR personally.
I don't see it. They're definitely gonna release it like the moment we get off.
It is going to be like 4:30 my time. So in 20 minutes, they're going to say, hey, here's your games for next week. Haha.
Well, I think the games for November or December this year are going to be big. I think they're just going to give a lot of fun for the holidays. My big prediction, Red Dead Redemption 2. Boom.
Ooh, wowzers. Okay,
that would be a huge game. You know, get pumped up.
I am going to put a different prediction out, and I think it makes sense with what's coming in.
Okay, you make sense.
January.
I go for the sky.
The Last of Us Part 2.
That would make sense, and then people would automatically jump onto that update very easily. Like so many people would grab that $10. That's a good one. Good prediction. Fan Bands Metal says that the new expansion is going to be the best thing that Bungie has done. Did I read that right? Where did I read that? I thought I just read that out of the corner of my eye.
So that was FCAT saying Joe Blackburn said they know the final shape has to be the best expansion, and it really
it has
does.
to be.
Yeah. So they are working really hard on it. Fan Bands says that he and his wife are screamo singers in thrash and death metal bands, which is awesome. I cannot screamo. I can't do that. The furthest I go is heavy metal. Your Iron Maidens, your Judas Priests, your Dios and co. That is as far as my voice will go. The screamo is impressive. It is such a good technique if you can get it down. That's impressive. And then he said bye, because I'm assuming he's off to do, or she's off to. I can't see it on the the avatar. They're off to do whatever they do in their standard day.
Well, take care. Thanks for stopping by the show, and we do appreciate it. We're on weekly, and if you miss us, catch the VOD. Thanks for stopping by the show. It means a lot. Cheers. There is some predictions for the December games, and right there on there is The Last of Us Part 2. So you may be hitting a vein on a lot of people's prediction. Yeah, but if Red Dead 2 comes out, I'm going to be so right.
Backflip on stream and probably crash and burn, which will make it even better.
So some quick run through the news before we head out. Destiny 2 did get a delay for their DLC. It's coming out now in June. On top of that, internally, get ready for this. We're hearing Marathon is also being delayed to 2025 end of year. So we didn't really get a release date on this anyway, so there was not much to expect. But obviously they're taking more time to get to the drawing board to make it better. A Venom spin-off may be imminent. We're hearing that Tony Todd says only 10% of his work was used in-game, meaning that 90% of his work is either on the floor of the editing room, which is really not the case because this is a high-paid voice actor. A lot of speculation goes behind saying that they did all the voice acting recording for both the main game and the DLC all at once, and we're going to be seeing this Venom add-on typical to what we've seen in a lot of Sony PlayStation releases.
Yeah, the first Spider-Man game had 3 DLC chapters come out, which were all excellent. I absolutely adored the story in that one with Black Cat the Heist and Tombstone. Superb expansion to the game. I would not be surprised if we saw Venom return. I have been out of bounds in Spider-Man 2, and I've been able to swing around other parts of the city where physics are a little bit squiffy. You've got cars driving on rooftops and such, but there are some really big additional areas of the city that we might go and explore in DLC that could be Venom-based, probably should be Venom-based. I'm hoping we see a lot more of the character. I do feel he was a touch underused, as good as he was in-game, but it's still it was excellent, and I'd love to see more.
It's like, how are they going to do that with the story? But I guess the people will hit the writing block. Maybe it'll be a different dimension. Who knows? We'll see.
Who knows?
The last story I'm going to get into, I promise. Stellar Blade PS5 dev Shift Up allegedly signs on as a Sony second party. This is interesting to see because we saw Stellar Blade announced, I believe, on the showcase earlier this year. It was supposed to come out in 2023, and it has been delayed. However, it looks like it was delayed for good reasons because they are signing on to be a Sony second party, meaning that more games from this studio could be exclusives for the PlayStation. This is the Shift Up developers. And it's good to see for developers out on that side, and I hope to see this Stellar Blade have a new release date coming up.
We've heard a lot of Stellar Blade since the PlayStation 5 was announced. It was one of the supposed launch games, and we've still not got it in hand. So I hope it doesn't become another Agent from Rockstar or another there's a couple of other games that have just been announced and then disappeared in recent times, sort of thing. So I like the look of Stellar Blade. It's changed names a couple of times, and I think bringing them on as a second party is probably a good thing if they've had issues with making this game up to this point, with getting across finish lines and such, because it means Sony can have a bit more of a hands-on experience with it and lend them the expertise of people like Insomniac, people like Guerrilla, people like Santa Monica and Naughty Dog and co. So it sounds like it's a good thing, and second party means they can still make for other platforms, they can still do other things. It's just that they've got that little extra guiding hand from Papa Sony, Papa PlayStation sort of thing.
Papa Sony. Sam, sorry to hear you don't like Destiny 2. It's completely understandable. They sort of fell into a repeatable rut. However, I do find it to be the cozy first-person shooter game. It's very relaxing. It's very, if you want to just go through something like shooting up, you know, some bad guys, AI people on a map over and over again. I believe they have found their niche and they have their audience, but that's what it is. It's different games for different people. And that's just where we fall in this diversity of our gaming network. But yeah, cool to see. I want to see more Stellar Blade Shift Up games. I thought it was funny in the article that this emerging Korean developer Shift Up, the creator of the horny mobile hit. Now, why is it a horny mobile hit? I have to click and figure out. Okay, I see why.
No, not on stream you don't. Not on stream you don't.
I see why. Okay, I'm going back. I'm going back. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
It's a good job you're not monetized.
But we can be soon as we reach the end of the podcast. It's good to say, if you enjoyed yourself, feel free to like, subscribe, and share, as well as both the co-hosts have their channels in the description as well. Be sure to like, subscribe to Dorgon and Rudigs, as well as Dorgon. What's going on this week? What content you got newly released? What can we look forward to on your channel?
So I've got a brand new PlayStation Portal review up on my channel, giving it the in-depth customer sort of viewpoint of what it's like to actually spend £200 on this device. I'm working on 3 or 4 different scripts. There's one for end of the year during like the time off that we're all going to have over Christmas, Hanukkah, Saturnalia, and whatever else you may celebrate at this time of year. And then a couple that I may want to get out before that. But otherwise, if you just want to look into the back catalogue, see what I've done, have a gander, would be much appreciated.
Awesome.
And yourself, good sir. Are we seeing the normal streams return?
Yeah, I'm feeling better. Last night I got up to some fun in city skylines. I'm building my city empire. It's a nice little series I've started, as well as tonight I'll be gaming with the family on family game night, so that'll be epic times. As always, we jump into Fortnite, try to get those victory royales. And then throughout the week I'll probably be wanting to stream some No Man's Sky, because that's my newest addiction. So be sure to tune into that on the Rudigs channel, as well as I should be releasing my first pre-recorded video with the help of Dorgon, being like, go Rudigs, do it, come on, do it. I've gotten so close to putting it out there, so be sure to tune into the channel and check it out there. Until next week, next Wednesday, you can catch us, the Super PlayStation Bros, signing off.
Catch you later, guys.
Roll the credits.
To believe in me. Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily tried just to be the me. Oh, fine type, super decently smooth. Nice type, but as sick as